Another year has come and gone, so it's time for another obligatory top 10 list. So I'm bringing you my top 10 favorite movies of 2019. Before we get into it, just so you know, these are only based on movies I have seen. I've seen 26 movies this year. Obviously, that's not all of them, so some might be left off. And also, of course, this is my personal opinion. If yours differs, that's okay. Let me know what you think in those comments below. Now, with any further ado, here are my top 10 favorite movies of 2019.
You should see me in a crowd.
Number 10, Spider-Man, Far From Home.
So here we go, start with an easy one. The epilogue to the amazing Marvel Phase 3 movies, Spider-Man Far From Home. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I loved how they introduced Mysterio and linked him with the past of the MCU, and I loved the look of him, the way they made him appear, the way they've introduced him into this universe, kind of separate from his counterpart. He really stole the show. But on top of that, Spider-Man is just great in this, kind of learning from his mistakes in previous movies and really becoming his own man and his own hero and growing into the role of being Spider-Man. And that's what this movie is about growing into the next phase, which really brings us into the next phase of Marvel Universe. So I can't wait to see where else they go with Spider-Man and what the next movie holds, but I really love this movie a lot.
The friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
You should see me in a crowd.
Number 9, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
So I'm not a hardcore, die-hard Tarantino fan. I've seen all his movies and I mostly enjoy them, so of course I would go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I loved it. You know, I'm a little biased because I do love Brad Pitt and everything he does, but this movie was also really great, and it also has another one of my favorite actresses, Margot Robbie, so it had a lot of good stuff going for it, and I really love Tarantino's kind of twist on history, as well as just this look into Hollywood and the background effects of that and the waning careers of a Hollywood legend kind of thing. And it was really interesting and I really enjoyed it. And it's kind of one of his better movies, and I hope to see it again.
Hey! You're Rick fucking Dalton. Don't you forget it.
You should see me in a crowd. I'm gonna run, there's nothing to hide.
Number 8, Hail Satan.
So I had a lot of internal debates about keeping this one on the list or not, because it is a documentary, so it's kind of outside of what you would judge a normal movie on. But this one is so well made and so interesting, and it really got me thinking a lot, so it really meant a lot to me, so I decided to make sure I kept it on this list. Hail Satan is the story of the Satanic Temple and their efforts to squash anyone that wants to put the Ten Commandments monument outside any courthouse, and the steps that they go about that, and making sure we keep a religious pluralism in American politics, making sure that every religion is kept equal to any other religion. I think that's a really important thing, and I really think they pointed out a lot of really good points and some really great facts, and just had some really good people behind this. This movie really meant a lot to me.
We want people to evaluate the United States being a Christian nation. It's not.
You should see me in a crowd. I'm gonna run, there's nothing
Number
to hide.
7, Shazam.
Watch me make 'em bow one by one.
So I think it's been a while since I've had a DC movie on my top 10 list, but here we go with Shazam! I loved Shazam. It's my favorite DCEU movie now. It was a lot of fun, and it really took what was built in this universe before, but also turned it into a new, fun, exciting, bright-colored kind of adventure, rather than the dark and dour stuff that we've gotten before. And I like that, how it's still within this universe, but it was still able to work with that and give us still something different and interesting. And I really liked that. I really loved Zachary Levi in this. He was fantastic. And just really everyone involved in this was great. And I love the family dynamic. And I love how it's pointing out, you know, how non-standard families aren't necessarily evil. There wasn't the evil adopted parents or anything like that. It was all a loving family. And I love to see that as well.
That's crazy, right?
What are your superpowers?
Superpowers, dude? I don't even know how to pee in this thing.
You should see me in a crowd. I'm gonna run, there's nothing to help.
Number 6, Joker.
We make 'em bow one by one by.
So possibly a controversial pick on this list, depending on who you talk to and what your tastes are. There is some problems I had with Joker, but overall, it's still a fantastically made character piece about a man losing his center in the universe and kind of being left behind by society. And I thought that was a really interesting look into this character and how it kind of played out. I really loved Joaquin's performance in this. He is always so amazing. He's such a great actor. And just the kind of dirty, dour look of the universe in general was just really interesting and refreshing. It was realistic and it wasn't overly dour. It was just, you know, New York in the 70s, and that aesthetic is always very interesting to me. So I just really enjoyed this movie, and I love the performances in it.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
You should see me in a crowd. I'm gonna run, there's nothing to help.
Number 5, Knives Out.
Watch me make 'em bow one by one by.
Oh man, I can talk forever about Knives Out. I freaking loved Knives Out. One of the greatest murder mysteries in my personal opinion. You're welcome to disagree with me, but I think it was fantastic. It turned the genre on its head while also using its own genre pieces to fill in some of the gaps and the blanks. It really was interesting. Yeah, it was, you know, straightforward, but also curvy and weird. It was everything and nothing all at the same time. Like, I'm not even sure I'm making any sense here, but it was just so amazing, and how they played with everything in this movie, how everything lined up. I think I mentioned in my review, it's a masterclass in setup and payoff. Everything that is set up pays off in the end, and it's just so amazing. And I love all the performances in this as well. I loved seeing Chris Evans back to being an asshole. I missed him as an asshole, and it's fun to see him back at that. So Knives Out, it is fantastic.
Up your ass.
Oh, very nice.
Matter of fact, eat shit. How's that? Eat shit, eat shit, eat shit.
Smug smile.
Definitely eat shit.
You should see me in a crowd. I'm gonna run, there's nothing to help.
Number 4, The Nightingale.
Make 'em bow one by one by.
The most brutal movie I've seen all year, and it's not even a horror movie. At least not straightforward horror. I guess you can sort of maybe call it horror, but not really. The Nightingale is just a brutal depiction of Australia in its early colonial days, as well as the mistreatment of women, the mistreatment of Aborigines, the overuse of power structure, people, you know, in power, you know, overusing their powers. It's a dark, bleak revenge movie in the style of something like I Spit on Your Grave, but it carries a lot more weight to it, and it's a lot more visceral, I think, and it's just a great piece and a great movie to see, although it's got some major trigger warnings along with it, so watch out with that, but I still suggest you see The Nightingale.
You know what it's like to have a white fella take everything you have, don't you? To buy my...
You should see me in a crowd. I'm gonna run,
Number
there's
3,
nothing to help.
John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum.
Bow one by one by.
Another brutal movie, but in a more fun way, at least if you know the horse scene that I'm talking about. John Wick is an amazing action franchise that came out of nowhere to blow everyone's mind away, and I can't believe it's still good after 3 sequels. how could it still go this good? But it's fantastic. Keanu is amazing in this. The action scenes are set up so beautifully, and they're done so well. And this world is getting so deep in mythology. It's getting so interesting to see this hitman kind of world and how it pays off. It's very cool, and it's just an amazing action movie, top tier action, and I can't wait to see what they do with the fourth one.
All of this for what? Because of a puppy?
Wasn't just a puppy.
You should see me in a crowd. I'm gonna run, there's nothing to hide.
Number 2, Avengers Endgame.
Of course, Avengers was gonna be on this list. You know it was gonna be on this list. The final cap off of the last 10 years of Marvel movies. This movie just pays off everything, and it is fantastic. I have gone on the record to say I enjoyed Infinity War more than Endgame, but Endgame is still an amazing movie. Everything is awesome in it, and really, there's not a whole lot more I can say. It just pays off in a lot of ways I love. I love a good time jump forward to see where our heroes kind of end up. That was really cool. Seeing the sacrifices and the heroic moments that we all see from all these heroes that we've seen built up over such a long time was such a cool thing to see, and just a great love letter to this entire universe.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
You should see me in a crowd. I'm gonna run, there's nothing to hide.
Number 1, Jojo Rabbit.
What could possibly beat Avengers Endgame? How about a movie about a Nazi best friend? What? Yeah, Jojo Rabbit is great. I don't even know where else to say with it. It's amazing. It's Taika Waititi's best movie to date, and it is funny, it is emotional, it's heart-wrenching, it's beautiful, it is everything. The entire fourth act, I was bawling the entire time. For multiple reasons, for laughter, for sadness, for beauty. This just has everything going for it, and it's such a weird premise. A young kid growing up in the Hitler Youth with Hitler as his imaginary best friend. It doesn't sound like that should be a good movie. I've tried to explain it to people, and it sounds like I'm insane that I suggest this movie, but Jojo Rabbit is so good, and it's got so many great messages to it. It is something you absolutely have to see, and is definitely my favorite movie of 2019.
Got it! I've
Burn down
negotiated.
the house and blame Winston Churchill. Or negotiate.
Those were my top 10 movies of 2019. What did you think? Is there any movies you feel I left off? Let me know what you think in those comments below. Hit that thumbs up if you're excited to move into 2020 in movies. And if you could, share this video with anyone possible, that'd be very helpful to me. I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Until next time, hold on to your whole thoughts.
Bide my tongue, bide my time.